In the stillness of your breath, there exists a hidden rhythm, a pulse that echoes the ancient song of the universe. Life is not a mere sequence of events, it is a dance unfolding in perfect harmony, each step leading you closer to the heart of your own truth. In every challenge and every silence, there are movements of grace that whisper the deeper meaning of existence. We often seek to control, to master our path, yet the secret lies not in dominion, but in surrender to the flow, to the mystery of it all. To the mystery of it all. To believe in yourself is not to impose will upon the world, but to recognize that you are already an integral part of its grand design. The symphony plays not for you alone, but with you in you. And when you allow the music to guide you, you'll realize you are both the dancer and the dance itself. Imagine for a moment that life is not a string of disconnected events, but rather a grand symphony, a melody composed long before we arrived. Every note, every rhythm, every pause has its purpose, its place, and its time. And each one of us is a vital part of this symphony, moving in perfect harmony with everything around us. The moment you begin to truly believe in yourself, you realize that you are not just a solitary note lost in the music of life. You are part of the entire composition. You're both the instrument and the player, shaping and being shaped by the music of existence itself. We tend to think of life in terms of isolated incidents, individual challenges we have to overcome, obstacles we must conquer, successes we strive toward. What if that's not the full story? Or what if every difficulty you face, every high and every low, is not something that happens to you in isolation, but rather part of something much larger, something you can't always see or understand in the moment? What if the struggle, the uncertainty, and the waiting are all pieces of a grander design meant to shape you in ways that are beyond your immediate comprehension? When you believe in yourself, you start to shift your perspective. You start to see the world less as a place where you fight to get ahead and more as a stage where you're invited to dance. Yes, dance. With the ebb and flow of life, with the unpredictable twists and turns, the times of silence, and the moments of triumph. You begin to see that you're not the one in charge of orchestrating every movement. You're part of the dance itself, moving and flowing with the rhythm of something much greater than yourself. Think of it like a river. A river doesn't need to force itself forward. It doesn't resist the current. It simply flows, sometimes calm and gentle, sometimes rushing with power, but always moving, always part of a larger system, the mountains that fed its waters, the trees along its banks, the skies that give it rain. And no matter where it leads, it remains a river. And the river knows that its course is already mapped out in the world of nature. It's a force of nature, and so are you. You are part of this vast, intricate, and beautifully interconnected web of life. You don't need to worry about figuring out every step or mastering every moment. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be in the grand scheme of things. The more you believe in yourself, the more you'll realize that life isn't just something that happens to you. It's something you're contributing to, something you're co-creating in each and every moment. You're like an artist holding a brush, but the canvas is the entire universe. And as you let go of the need to control it all, you'll start to see that your strokes are part of a masterpiece that was always meant to be. But here's the thing. Belief in yourself doesn't mean you have to understand everything, all at once. It doesn't mean having all the answers or knowing the next move in a game that's been playing for billions of years. Believing in yourself simply means trusting that you're part of a process. It's about surrendering to the flow of life rather than fighting against it. And when you do this, when you trust in your place in the symphony, you allow the music to guide you. You stop worrying so much about what you can't control, and you start becoming more attuned to the rhythm of your own existence. You start dancing to the beat of your own heart. I know, it's hard. The world encourages us to be in constant motion, to control, to conquer, to make things happen. But sometimes the most powerful action we can take is to simply allow things to unfold, to allow ourselves to be a part of this cosmic dance without feeling the need to lead every single step. The hardest thing for most of us is letting go, isn't it? letting go of the idea that we are separate, that we are standing apart from the world and from others. But in reality, we are the world, and we are each other. The challenge is to recognize this interconnectedness, to see that the struggles, the silences, the twists and turns are not disruptions in the song, but are part of its essential movement. Every high and every low has its place in the melody. Now, this doesn't mean that life will always be easy, or that we should expect everything to be smooth sailing. Not at all. The melody of life is full of unexpected turns, deep valleys, and moments where the music may even seem to stop. But when you believe in yourself, you stop resisting those pauses, those silences. You begin to understand that every note, even the ones that seem out of place, are part of a beautiful whole. What may seem like a discordant sound today could be the perfect harmony of tomorrow. The key is not in understanding every note, but in trusting that it will all make sense in the end. And here's the truth. There is no need to worry about being lost in the music. You are never separate from the flow. The music knows you. It's always been in you, and always will be. You are already playing your part. Just believe in yourself enough to listen, to trust the rhythm, and to step into your place within this grand divine composition. So, let go of the idea that you need to control every part of your journey. When you believe in yourself, you realize that you are the note that makes the symphony complete. Without you, the music wouldn't sound the same. You are essential. You are already exactly where you need to be. There's something quite profound about the idea of surrender, something that runs counter to everything we've been taught about success. We live in a world that prizes control above all else. The idea that we must make things happen, force our will, and strive for what we want is ingrained in us from a young age. And, for the most part, this is good advice, especially when it comes to effort and perseverance. But there is a deeper layer of truth that, when embraced, can completely shift the way we approach life. And that truth is this: true belief in yourself isn't about controlling the outcome. It's about trusting the process. Think about it for a moment. The most powerful things in life, the things that carry us through the toughest of times, that inspire us, that help us grow, often come when we stop trying to force them, and instead surrender to something greater. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of the need to control every detail and trusting that life is moving in a direction that you might not yet fully understand. We have this need to control everything because deep down, we fear uncertainty. Because we fear uncertainty. We want to know what comes next, to have answers, to have a map that tells us exactly where we're going and how we'll get there. But here's the thing: life doesn't come with a map. It's more like an unfolding story, where you don't always know the next chapter. And while that can be intimidating, it is also the very thing that makes life so rich, so unpredictable, and ultimately so beautiful. When you truly believe in yourself, you start to realize that this uncertainty isn't something to fight against. Instead, it's part of the journey, part of the grand unfolding of your life. To believe in yourself is to trust that the story is already being written, that each experience, whether you view it as positive or negative, is part of the greater narrative. And you, just by being you, are playing your part, whether you fully understand it in the moment or not. The real art here is surrendering to the flow. When you're swimming in a river, you don't try to control the current. You don't fight against the water. Instead, you move with it. Sometimes the current is gentle, sometimes it's fast, but if you trust the river, if you trust that it's taking you where you need to go, you'll find yourself where you're meant to be, at the perfect moment, at the perfect time. But the key is that you don't try to fight the current. You trust it. You surrender to it. And I know what you're thinking. But what about the hard times? What about the setbacks? How am I supposed to surrender when I'm struggling, when I feel lost? These are the times that challenge our belief in ourselves the most. The moments when the river is no longer calm, when the waters are rough, and it feels like we're drowning. But what if in those moments, surrendering to the flow could be the very thing that allows us to survive? What if instead of fighting against the struggle, we accepted that this too was part of the journey and let it carry us to new insights, new strengths, and new opportunities? I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. Hardest thing in life is letting go. But that's where the true power lies. Not in holding on tighter, but in trusting that you don't need to control everything. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to have it all figured out. Figured out. There's a certain peace that comes with realizing that the universe, or life, or whatever higher force you believe in is guiding you in ways that your mind might not always grasp in the moment. When you can surrender to that guidance, you allow yourself to step into a flow that is far more powerful than any individual effort or willpower. This kind of surrender is not passive. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It's active trust. It's trusting that as you keep moving forward with faith, the universe will meet you with what you need. It's understanding that every step, every decision, every experience is part of the journey, and that even the challenges, the moments of doubt, the setbacks, they're all just part of the story you're meant to live. To live. I think about it like this. You're not building a house brick by brick, trying to perfect every detail. Instead, you're standing in the midst of a vast field of possibilities, planting seeds and watching them grow. Some seeds will take time to bloom, others will fall away, but the act of planting and nurturing them is enough. You don't need to control every single outcome. You need only to believe in yourself, in the process, and in the certainty that you are part of something far greater than you can see at any given moment. To believe in yourself is to trust that even in the times of stillness, even when it seems like nothing is happening, something is always shifting behind the scenes. The river may seem still at times, but it's always moving beneath the surface, carving its path through the landscape. And when you trust the flow, when you trust the process, you stop waiting for life to make sense and start participating in the beauty of its unfolding. So, the next time life throws a curveball, when things don't go according to plan, when you feel uncertain or lost, don't resist. Don't fight the current. Don't waste your energy trying to control the outcome. Surrender. Believe in yourself enough to trust that this moment is just as it should be. And when you do, you'll realize that the journey you're on was never meant to be about perfection. It was meant to be about the experience of living, of growing, and of being a part of something far grander than you could ever fully understand. Because when you surrender to the flow, you realize that you are, in fact, the flow. And in that, everything changes. You know, one of the most misunderstood parts of growth is failure. Somewhere along the line, we were taught to be afraid of it, as if failing means we've somehow fallen short of our potential, or that we've revealed some kind of weakness. But what if I told you the opposite is true? What if failure isn't the end of the road, but a necessary part of the journey toward believing in yourself? We've been conditioned to think success is a straight line, that once we figure out our passion or our plan, everything should fall perfectly into place. But in reality, growth is messy. It's unpredictable. It's filled with wrong turns, closed doors, awkward starts, and uncomfortable silences. And that's not just okay, it's essential. Because it's in those moments, when things don't go our way, that we're offered the chance to ask the most important question. Now what? Now what? Now what? That question is the birthplace of self-belief. It's not when things are easy or when you're winning. That belief really takes root. It's when you stumble. It's when the launch fails, when the meeting doesn't go as planned, when you get the rejection email, when no one shows up to your big idea. That's when the voice inside has the opportunity to say, "Even so, I'm not done yet." And that voice, your voice, is the one that matters most. Think about a toddler learning to walk. They fall constantly, but they never think, maybe I'm just not cut out for walking. They get up. They try again. Why? Because failure hasn't taught them to doubt themselves yet. We learn doubt later. It's taught. It's reinforced. But that resilience, that inherent belief that I can do this, that's something we all started with. The work as adults is to return to it. Here's the truth. People who believe in themselves aren't immune to failure. They're just not afraid of it anymore. Because they've learned what failure really is, feedback. It's information. It tells us what doesn't work so we can discover what does. It refines us. It sharpens us. And sometimes it redirects us towards something better than we imagined. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine spent 2 years building a startup he believed in with everything he had. Sleepless nights, pitching to investors, hiring a team, the works. And it failed. Completely. Completely. The company folded, the debts piled up, and he was devastated. But something incredible happened. In the middle of that disappointment, he realized he had gained something he hadn't expected: clarity. He now knew what he didn't want in his next venture. He understood what kind of leadership he was meant for. And more importantly, he saw that he had survived what he thought would break him. And once you know you can survive that, there's a kind of quiet power that kicks in. It's not loud or flashy. It's not bravado. It's conviction. It's the knowledge that I've been through worse and I'm still here. That's belief. You see, failure doesn't diminish your worth. It reveals your strength. For you. And every time you choose to stand back up, to learn, to move forward with what you've gained, you're building something far more powerful than a perfect record. You're building resilience. And resilience, fueled by self-belief, changes everything. We live in a culture that celebrates wins, highlights, and finish lines, but it's the in-between. The messy middle, the quiet failures, the private doubts, that shapes who we really are. Don't run from that. Don't hide from it. Lean into it. Own it. Because every great story of success is also a story of someone who refused to let failure have the final word. So the next time you fall short, lose your footing, or hit a wall, don't ask, "Oh, why me?" Ask, "What now?" And then listen closely. You'll hear a whisper, sometimes faint, sometimes firm, reminding you of what's still possible. That's your belief talking. And when you trust it, when you honor it, when you follow it, everything begins to change. Because it's not the failures that define us, it's what we do after them that shapes who we become. You keep getting up. That's how belief grows. When you believe in yourself, something amazing happens. You don't just change your own life. You begin to change the lives of everyone around you. It's like this ripple effect that starts with you, but doesn't stop there. You see, belief in yourself is contagious. It doesn't just stay inside you, it spreads to others, inspires them, and encourages them to start believing in their own potential. And here's the thing, when people see you living with conviction, pursuing your dreams, failing and getting back up, they don't just admire you. They start thinking, maybe I can do that too. Think about the people who have inspired you. Maybe it's a mentor, a colleague, a friend, or even a public figure you've never met. What is it about them that makes you believe in yourself? More often than not, it's not their perfection or success that draws you in. It's their courage, their authenticity, their willingness to be themselves, flaws and all. It's the way they walk into a room and, without saying a word, show others that anything is possible if you just keep believing. That's the kind of energy that changes lives. A couple of years ago, I met a woman who had been through some incredibly tough times. She'd lost her job, gone through a difficult divorce, and found herself questioning everything she thought she knew about her own strength. But instead of retreating, she made a decision. She was going to turn her life around, not just for herself, but for her kids, her community, and the people who believed in her. Slowly but surely, she started rebuilding. She started her own small business. She took a risk, one that many would have said was too big, too soon. It's too big, too soon. But she had something many people don't realize is the key to success: belief in herself. It wasn't just about the business, it was about what that belief did to her. It gave her a sense of purpose, a sense of control. And as she began to rise, so did the people around her. So did the people around her. Her kids watched her with awe, learning that no matter how hard life gets, there's always a way forward. Her friends were inspired too. Some of them even started their own ventures, driven by the example she had set. But what really stood out to me wasn't just her success. It was the way her belief in herself influenced those around her. It was the way she helped others see that they were capable of more than they thought, too. And when you really think about it, that's the heart of what makes belief so powerful. It doesn't just elevate you, it elevates everyone you touch. When you truly believe in yourself, you give others permission to do the same. And that's not something you can fake. It's not a performance. It's a deep internal truth that people can feel. Have you ever noticed how people who believe in themselves seem to radiate confidence? And not the kind of confidence that feels arrogant or overbearing, but the kind that makes you feel like you too could achieve something great. That's the energy of someone who has mastered the art of self-belief. And when others feel that, when they see you pushing forward in the face of adversity, they start to ask themselves, what's stopping me? One of the most beautiful things about this ripple effect is that it doesn't take much to get it going. A kind word, an encouraging gesture, a simple act of persistence, it all sends a message. You can do this. I believe in you. That's the message you send when you live in alignment with your belief in yourself. And let me tell you, that message can be life-changing for someone else. You might never know the full extent of how much your belief in yourself has impacted someone's life, but I promise you, it has. Shit. Just by being you, by staying true to your vision and your journey, you are leaving a mark on the world. And that mark isn't just on you. It's on the people who are watching you, learning from you, and being inspired by you. This isn't about trying to be perfect. It's not about putting on a mask of confidence when you don't feel it. This is about being real. It's about showing others that believing in yourself doesn't mean you have all the answers, or that you never struggle, or that you don't face doubt. It means that despite all of that, you choose to keep going. And when others see you keep going, they start to believe they can keep going too. There's this incredible thing that happens when you allow yourself to fully embrace your own potential. Others start to see their own. Others start to see their own. You become a mirror for them, reflecting back the best version of themselves. And when they start to believe in themselves, everything changes. Their actions change. Their decisions change. Their relationships change. It's like a domino effect. One person believing in themselves creates a wave that spreads, influencing their family, their friends, their coworkers, and their communities. That's the power of belief. It's not confined to just one person. It ripples out, touching everyone in its path. So when you step into your own potential, you're not just transforming your life. You're transforming the lives of those around you, too. You become a catalyst for change not through grand speeches or heroic acts, but through something much more profound, by simply believing in yourself. And in that belief, you offer others the gift of their own potential. And that's how everything changes. It starts with you. When we talk about belief in yourself, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that all you have to do is believe, that somehow just having that self-belief will magically create the path forward. But belief alone doesn't move mountains. It's the actions you take, the steps you put in place, the consistency with which you show up, that turns belief into something real. Think about it for a moment. You can believe with all your heart that you're capable of achieving something. You can visualize your success. You can even write it down every day. But if you don't do something with that belief, if you don't take concrete steps toward your goals, then nothing changes. Belief isn't a passive state. It's a call to action. It's what drives you to set a goal, and it's what keeps you going when you encounter obstacles along the way. Let's take the example of running a marathon. Imagine that one day you decide, I believe I can run a marathon. That belief is crucial. It's the starting point. But here's the thing. Believing you can run the marathon doesn't mean you're going to show up at the starting line tomorrow and just do it. No, you need a plan. You need to train. You need to commit to a routine. Even when it's hard, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. You need to wake up early, put on your running shoes, and hit the pavement. Every single day. Because belief without action is just a dream. And dreams are only realized when we turn them into something real. This is where goal setting becomes so important. So important. Without clear goals, you're just drifting. Your belief in yourself might still be there, but you have nothing to aim for, nothing to move toward. Goals give you direction. They turn that belief into something actionable, something measurable, something measurable. And the beauty of setting clear goals is that they don't need to be huge. In fact, the smaller, more specific the goal, the easier it becomes to take consistent action. Let's say your goal is to write a book. That's a huge task, right? But if you break it down into smaller goals, Like writing 500 words a day or completing a chapter a week. Suddenly, it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Every small action, every single day, is a step toward the bigger picture. And when you take action consistently, that's when belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you do, the more you believe you can do. Now you might think, okay, I get it. I need to take action. But what happens when things don't go the way I planned? What happens when I hit a roadblock or when it feels like I'm not making any progress? It's a great question. And here's the thing. The road to success is never a straight line. It's full of detours, bumps, and sometimes even dead ends. But those bumps don't mean you've failed. They simply mean you've been redirected. And in those moments, when things aren't going as planned, it's important to remember persistence, not perfection, is the key. I've worked with so many people who've started down a path with a clear goal in mind, only to realize halfway through that the path isn't exactly what they expected. Maybe the job they thought was perfect didn't turn out to be the right fit. Maybe the product they were developing didn't sell the way they thought it would. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they handle those detours. Do they give up, or do they reassess and adjust? Do they let frustration take over? Or do they take a step back, reframe the problem, and try again? The truth is, the process of achieving anything meaningful is just as much about resilience as it is about taking action. When you face a setback, it's easy to lose sight of your belief. But belief isn't something that's only strong when things are going smoothly. Real belief is unwavering, even when things aren't working out the way you imagined. It's the belief that no matter what happens, you will keep moving forward. You'll find a new path, you'll learn from the failure, refine your approach, and keep taking action, one step at a time. And this is where perseverance becomes everything. Success isn't about how many times you get it right, but how many times you're willing to get back up after you've fallen. It's about the quiet persistence that keeps you going, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, even when the finish line feels like it's 1,000 miles away. Frotix, 1,000 miles away. Every action you take, no matter how small, is progress. And every step, even if it's just putting one foot in front of the other, is moving you closer to your goal. So, when you start believing in yourself, remember, it's not just about thinking big and dreaming big. It's about breaking those dreams into actionable steps and showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when you'd rather take a break, even when you think progress is too slow to matter. Because each action, no matter how small, is part of the process. And that process is what turns belief into reality. Take consistent action, and soon enough you'll look up and realize that belief has already carried you further than you ever imagined. Keep moving. It's the only way to make your belief real. When we talk about belief in yourself, we often focus on the end result, the success, the achievement, the moment when everything clicks into place. But here's the thing. The most powerful form of belief doesn't come from achieving someone else's version of success. It comes from embracing your own journey, understanding that your path is uniquely yours, and trusting that it will unfold exactly the way it's meant to. The truth is, we live in a world that constantly tells us to compare ourselves to others. We see their success, their highlight reels on social media, and we start to believe that their way is the right way, that their timeline is the one we should be following. But here's the reality. Comparison is the thief of joy, and it's also the enemy of self-belief. When you're too busy trying to walk in someone else's footsteps, you miss the opportunity to walk in your own. We've all done it. Looked at someone else's success and thought, why am I not there yet? But here's the thing. You're not supposed to be there yet. Not on their timeline, not following their exact steps. Your journey is yours, and it will look different. And that's a good thing. It means you're on the right path. But it also means that there will be times when you have to trust yourself, even when you can't see the whole road ahead. It means you'll have to listen to that quiet voice inside, the one that reminds you, you are enough exactly as you are, and you're on your own path. This is one of the most liberating aspects of self-belief. It allows you to embrace your own unique set of circumstances, talents, and values. And when you do that, You give yourself the freedom to create a life that feels authentic to you, because true success isn't about checking boxes on a list that someone else created. It's about finding fulfillment in doing what you were meant to do and letting that journey unfold at your own pace to your own pace. Think about a time when you felt truly aligned with something, when you were in a flow, when the world around you seemed to click into place, and you knew you were exactly where you needed to be. That feeling isn't a mistake, it's a signal. It's your inner compass telling you, this is what it looks like when I'm on the right path. It's easy to forget that, especially in a world that rewards external validation and constantly tells us we should be doing more, faster, and bigger. But the reality is that sense of alignment is a gift. And it's one that only you can recognize and trust. I've worked with so many people who've spent years chasing a dream or a career that wasn't truly theirs, simply because they were told it was the right thing to do. They followed the path because it seemed like the thing to do, because they saw others do it, because it was expected of them. And over time, they found themselves drained, unfulfilled, and questioning everything. That's when they realized they had been living someone else's dream. They were walking someone else's path. But when they began to trust their own instincts, their own desires, everything shifted. They started to make choices that were in alignment with their true selves, and in doing so, they started to create something far more powerful than a life built on expectations. They created a life built on authenticity. I'm not saying it's always easy. It's often much harder to trust your own path, especially when it's unclear or different from what others expect of you. But I can promise you, the people who make a real impact, the ones who inspire us to believe in ourselves, are the ones who aren't afraid to embrace their uniqueness. So, they aren't afraid to take risks that seem unconventional or to pursue a dream that no one else understands. They do it because they know, deep down, that their journey is theirs and theirs alone. Embracing your unique path also means accepting that there will be moments of doubt, moments where the road ahead seems foggy, where you question whether you're on the right track. But that's part of the process. Every path has its uncertainties. Every journey has its moments of uncertainty. But the difference is, when you believe in yourself, when you trust that your path is the right one for you, those doubts don't derail you. Instead, they become part of the process. You learn from them, grow through them, and use them to strengthen your resolve. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is stop looking to others for validation. Stop waiting for the world to tell you you're on the right path. Start listening to your own voice. Start trusting your own instincts, and start defining success on your own terms. Warren, terms. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others and start embracing your own unique journey, you'll realize something profound. You've always been exactly where you needed to be. And when you start to believe that, truly believe that, you'll find a new sense of freedom. The pressure to meet external expectations will fade, and you'll be left with the exhilarating knowledge that you are creating something that is entirely yours. Something authentic, something meaningful. It's not about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about embracing the beautiful, imperfect, messy journey that is uniquely yours. And when you do that, when you give yourself permission to follow your own path, you'll unlock a power inside of you that can move mountains. Your path is yours alone, own it, and everything else will fall into place.